24-year-old woman was stabbed to death in her own home in Springfield, Illinois. The man accused of killing her had already been convicted of kidnapping. He wasn't supposed to be in this country at all, but thanks to Illinois' sanctuary city policies, he was, and now he's gone. It's been nearly 2 years. The suspect is still at large. Federal agents think he fled the country, but instead of tightening the laws or helping the victim's family, Illinois Governor JB Pritzker office actually mocked them. And that means sarcasm, jokes, absolutely no justice. So this week, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem came to Springfield to say enough is enough. She stood with grieving families. She called for change. She pointed the finger directly at the politicians responsible for these laws. And guys, you need to hear what she has to say. So let's get to the full story. So my name's Tom. I'm with the Daily Beltway. I'm also the publisher of the Illinois Review and a White House correspondent for the Next News Network. This week, Kristi Noem visited Springfield, Illinois, my hometown. She was standing with the angel families who've lost loved ones of violent crimes committed by illegal immigrants. She was there to demand justice for one name in particular, Emma Shafer. So Emma was just 24 years old, and on July 11, 2023, she was found murdered in her home, stab wounds throughout her body. The man wanted for the murder is Gabriel Calixto, a 25-year-old illegal alien from Mexico with a prior kidnapping conviction. He was charged with first-degree murder and aggravated domestic battery, and he's still on the run. So right after the killing, authorities believe he fled the country, but they also admit Illinois law made it harder to catch him. And that's where the sanctuary state policies come in. So let's check out this video here. Kristi Noem is calling out Illinois lawmakers and JB Pritzker to their faces for blocking law enforcement from cooperating with federal agents. Check this out.
Sanctuary policies. In 2020, while Pritzker was in office, a 34-year-old illegal alien in Mexico was released by the city of Chicago after committing theft. He'd already been deported, he was a convicted felon, and they let him get away. He then went on to sexually assault a 3-year-old girl in a McDonald's bathroom. And in February of this year, 2 illegal aliens were arrested after they murdered a 63-year-old man. They lured him to his death using a dating app, tied him up in his apartment, and killed him. They then used his credit card and his phones and spent over $4,000 before they were arrested. And just earlier this week, ICE finally arrested and took into federal custody an illegal alien who had been arrested 16 times in Chicago and had been continuously released over and over again. What's worse is that all of these arrests have happened between October of 2023 and November of 2024. All of these occurred under Governor Pritzker's watch, and he largely excused all of this crime under the guise of running a sanctuary state and supported policies that prevent local law enforcement officers to work with our ICE officers to get families justice.
So Noem pointed directly to the Illinois Trust Act, passed under former Governor Bruce Rauner and strengthened under JB Pritzker. The law bars local police from holding illegal aliens unless there's a warrant from a judge, and that includes known violent offenders. And instead of taking Noem's concerns seriously, Pritzker's office responded with mockery. They posted a sarcastic itinerary of her visit. They dismissed her remarks as a publicity stunt. Noem said this wasn't about politics. She said it was about life and death. And the only one raising alarms are the Republicans. So Illinois Congresswoman Mary Miller backed Noem's visit. She called on sheriffs across the state to start working with ICE again, even if that means defying the state. So meanwhile, protests broke out near the governor's mansion, chants, tambourines, the whole crap, cowbells. It was all organized by the AFL-CIO and, of course, Democrats. Instead of demanding the suspect be found, they attacked Noem for showing up. So this debate, it's nothing new. In 2019, another illegal immigrant in Bolingbrook, Illinois, was released despite an ICE detainer, later charged with sexually assaulting a child. In 2022, a man deported multiple times was convicted of brutal sexual assault in Chicago. Each time, ICE was blocked from taking custody. Good job. So the Trust Act is still in place. As long as it is, local police have their hands tied. They need a judicial warrant to hold anyone, even someone with a violent record like Calixto. Emma Shafer was an activist. She worked with groups like Sierra Club and the Springfield Immigrant Advocacy Network. And ironically, the laws she meant to have supported are the ones that let her accused killer stay in Illinois. And so Kristi Noem didn't avoid the truth. She called it what it was, government failure. She said when leaders refuse to cooperate with federal immigration law, they put all Americans at risk. Noem also mentioned that Trump administration has launched a legal challenge to Illinois sanctuary laws, specifically the state's effort to block E-Verify. The administration says it's a part of a broader plan to force cooperation between states and federal enforcement. And it's already making waves. Governor Pritzker is expected to testify before Congress later this year on these very same policies. Meanwhile, local law enforcement says their hands are tied. So let's check out why this story matters. Our republic is built on laws. If a state like Illinois decides those laws don't matter, then the safety of every single citizen, including myself, because I live in Illinois, is put at risk. So what happens to Emma Shafer should never happen. A convicted kidnapper who never should have been here in the first place, released and protected by a state that now laughs when someone demands accountability. That's not just negligence, that's a literal moral collapse. So Pritzker's refusal to meet with angel families, his mockery of Kristi Noem's visit, that tells you everything you need to know. He's playing politics. And Kristi and the rest of everyone, they showed leadership. The Trump administration understands that. Kristi Noem understands that. And if we want to protect our families, our streets, and our future, then the rest of this country better start understanding it too. Because this isn't just about one case in Springfield. This is happening in cities all across the country. When illegal immigration is protected more than American lives, we have a duty to speak up. And it's time for accountability, and it's time for action.